What's up, yogis? Welcome to Yin Yoga. If you're unfamiliar with Yin, or if you're coming back and just need a little refresher, Yin is much more focused on your connective tissue, your fascia, your ligaments, your tendons. You want to get away from muscle engagement as much as possible, and focus on these deeper areas by holding still for much longer. So for our practice today, we're going to be slowing down and we're going to be holding poses for much longer than you normally do in a vinyasa class. So we might be holding a pose anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. And throughout class, throughout the video, I'll be checking my watch to make sure that we're on time. So if I come out of a pose and look at my watch, that's just me making sure that we're on schedule. The other thing about Yin Yoga is that it focuses on meridians, which are like lines of energy throughout your body. And if you're familiar with the idea of chakras, they're kind of similar to chakras. Instead of being like spheres of energy, though, they're roadmaps of energy. It's like lines of energy through your body. And if these lines of energy ever get stuck or stagnant or blocked in some way, then you might experience something as a result. So today, for example, we're going to be focusing on our liver and gallbladder meridians. It doesn't sound as romantic as something like focusing on your heart chakra. But your liver and gallbladder meridians are associated with creativity, ambition, and drive. They're also associated with getting quickly irritated. So if you find yourself losing your temper very easily lately or getting frustrated, it could be energy blocked up in your liver and gallbladder meridians. And these meridians, all our meridians start in our toes and then come up through our body and up through the crown of our head. The liver and gallbladder meridians really focus on the inside and the outside of your legs. So gallbladder runs up from the outside of your legs and liver runs up from the inside. So we're going to be doing a lot with our legs, a lot with our hips, and let's get to it. If you happen to have a throw pillow or a small pillow, something from your couch, or if you have a nice meditation cushion, grab one of those. It could be very helpful. If you have a blanket, then roll it up into a nice little bolster. If you have a yoga bolster, then that's awesome. Use that. I wish I had one. I just use the blanket off my bed. It's rolled up into a nice fat little cushiony bolster, which makes it a little nice to use. And if you happen to have a couple of blocks, then go ahead and grab those. If you don't have blocks, then books will work just as well, but make sure that they're soft cover. It's a little bit easier for you. And then if they end up being too hard, you can always take your blanket and put that on top or give yourself some extra padding. Yeah. So keep your props close by. And we're going to begin today just in an easy seated pose, Sukhasana. You'll sit up nice and tall, crisscross your legs. You can lay your arms on your inner thighs with your palms face up, or lay them in your lap, your choice. Again, sit up tall, imagine stacking your shoulders over your hips. And keep the crown of your head towards your ceiling and your chin away from your chest. And as you arrive here in your space on your mat, gently close your eyes down and start to become a little bit more aware of what's happening inside your body. So to pay attention to your breathing rhythm and notice just where your breath is at right now in this moment as you come to your mat, as you come into your space. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And open mouth exhale. Again, just like that, breathe in. Open mouth exhale, release. And one more time, inhale deep. Pause and hold here at the top for 3, 2, 1. Exhale. And let your breathing rhythm fall into its own natural, steady, and slow pace. Try not controlling or changing your breath. Just let it be where it is. And use your breath to scan your body. See if you can follow your inhales as breath comes into your body and flows through. And as you release to your exhales, feel it come back out and notice any areas of tightness or tension, any areas where your breath might skip or jump. Try to smooth those areas out. As gently and slowly as you can, and start to release. You're going to come down and lie down on your mat. So move any props out of the way if they're on your mat or in your space. Then slowly make your way onto your back. Send your left leg out long. And pull your right foot in towards your left inner thigh and let your right knee fall over towards the right side of your mat. As your knee comes down, if it starts to lift your left hip up too much off of your mat, then you can take your block and place it underneath your right thigh for a little bit of support. Relax your arms at your sides. You can keep your palms facing upwards, or you can lay one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Just coming into a half butterfly, a supine half butterfly. A nice and easy way to begin your practice. You don't have to use the block underneath your right knee if you don't want to. I do recommend using it at first, and then if you want to remove it, then you can take it away. Every time we come into a pose, you want to start at the very beginning. You're not looking for the deepest expression of any particular posture, but rather using each pose to explore your body, moving very, very slow and finding your edge, your sensation, that point where your body starts to feel something. And as your edge recedes, you might go deeper and deeper into the pose. As you get more comfortable in each asana, you might push yourself to a deeper place as you hold. But try to move there nice and easily, like step by step. Keep breathing. And start to feel your body letting go. Start to feel gravity taking control. Take about 3 more breaths here. And after your 3rd breath, gently lift your right leg up and send it out alongside your left. Moving again very, very slow, as little muscle engagement as possible. Bend your left knee and bring the sole of your left foot to your right inner thigh. And then let your left knee fall to the left side. And again, you can reach down and adjust if you need, pulling your heel closer towards your groin if that's accessible. And place a block underneath your left thigh or your left knee if you need to. I do recommend giving it a try and then going deeper as you see fit. It's totally okay to let your leg hang out in space up here like this, but if it causes you to work muscles that don't need working, then it's nice to use the block. This is where our props come in handy. You want to try to disengage any areas that are not our target areas. So you're focusing all of your energy, all of your attention on very specific places in your body. And as you lay here and hold, notice how your left hip starts to open just a little bit more. Your body continues to relax. Continue following your breath through your body. Notice any tension on the outside of your left thigh. The thickest piece of fascia in your body is your IT bands. And they run alongside the outside of your leg, all the way from your hip down to your knee. And as they are very, very thick, they can cause a lot of tension when they get tight. They can cause a lot of knee pain, they can cause hip pain. They can be very difficult to stretch out. This is why we foam roll our IT bands and try to promote that stretching. Take 3 more breaths here. After your third breath, reach down and lift your left knee up, either away from your mat or your block. Keep it bent and bend your right knee up to meet it. Then gently roll over onto your right side. Just come into a fetal pose for a quick moment. Just a little transition before pushing yourself up back to a seat. Now in your seat, I want to bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Going to come into a full butterfly. And if you need to sit down on your pillow or your cushion or your block, you can do that. But in Vinyasa flow, this is called Baddha Konasana, and you often pull your heels in tight towards your groin and get a deeper stretch in your hamstrings. So today what I want you to do is actually let your heels move further away from you, so create a bigger diamond shape in your legs. And they can rotate to the side so you can see what it looks like from this angle. Got a whole lot of space here. And sit up nice and tall once again. Make sure your props are close by. And take a breath in, find length in your spine. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to fold forwards. And keep the length in your spine for as long as you can as you come down over your legs. And your props are close by because if you want to, you can stack something up to bring your head down on top of. Now, if you have a tower of books, then you like to read. Just kidding. If you have a tower of books, that's great. You can stack them up and bring your head down on top. You can stack up your block on top of your pillow, any kind of combination to bring your head down on top of. You don't need to bring your head down on top of anything necessarily. It's just something nice, again, to focus a little bit more on the opening in your hips rather than any tension in your upper body. If you don't make it all the way down, that's okay. And as your back starts to round, go ahead and let it round. So in our Vinyasa classes, we typically focus on keeping your spine straight so that your core is engaged. Right? But here in yin, you want to disengage. So as your back rounds, just let it round. Find a natural curvature in your spine as you fold down. And breathe. It's a very quiet and introspective posture. Coming back to working with our liver and gallbladder meridians, it should be very soothing, very calming. And sometimes when we're feeling easily frustrated or irritated, we need this kind of space, this kind of moment to just pause and breathe. Let it go. As you get deeper into your fold, as you continue to hold here, if you can lower your props to a smaller setting, if that's accessible to you, then you can totally do that. That is your edge receding. That's you going to a deeper place. get deeper, though, try not to use your arms or your hands to pull your upper body down. You want to, again, let gravity take control. Letting go of your body. And only folding down as far as your body lets you go today. It may not be the same as yesterday or next week. Again, practice is an opportunity to tune into your body to see exactly where it's at in this moment, right here, right now, and to accept where it's at. So as we come into our poses, try not to change, try not to fidget or adjust, just see where you're at and accept it. Take about 3 more breaths. And on your next inhale, slowly come back up. Taking your time. Every time we move from one pose to another, your body is going to feel it. We've been holding poses for a long time, and so you want to move real slow. Move your props out of the way, but keep them close by once again. And slowly swing your legs around behind you. Come down onto your elbows. Again, taking your time, making your way onto your belly. And then sit your hips up and bring them up over your knees. Put them into puppy pose, anahatasana. This is a heart opener. It's kind of like child's pose. Except instead of a baby human, you're a baby dog. So, to come into your puppy pose, keep your knees, hips width distance apart, and your hips stacked directly above them. And then send your arms out in front of you as you lower your chest down. And bring your forehead down. And your shoulder blades are going to get closer towards one another as if they're pinching your spine. Your back is going to arch a lot, coming down and opening your chest towards your yoga mat, opening your heart towards your yoga mat, anahatasana. Now, this is all well and good. You can stay here if you like, or if it feels good, you can place a block underneath your forehead and give yourself a little bit more room. You can also use your pillow or your rolled up blanket, but it's kind of hard to do if there's not space to breathe. So if you can lay that down in such a way that there's room for your nose and your mouth to access air, then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, maybe just use your block and settle in. Maybe notice how your chest gets heavier with every breath you take, and the longer you spend here, the closer it gets towards your mat. The deeper the compression in your lumbar spine, a bigger expansion in your chest. In general, this pose should feel, again, rather soothing, rather calming. Come back to your breath. And take another inhale. And exhale completely. And on your next inhale, lift yourself up. You're going to stay on your belly, and as a matter of fact, you're going to stretch your legs out behind you and lie all the way down onto your belly. Set up your Sphinx pose. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Keep your toes untucked behind you. And find a proud Sphinx first. So lift your chest upwards. Keep your arms parallel with the outer edges of your mat and see if you can soften your shoulders once you get up here. This is very good for your digestive system, is the gentle pressure of your yoga mat on your stomach and digestive organs, stimulating. And so many of the meridians that we focus on in yin practice have to do with your digestive organs, which is rather interesting as science is beginning to understand that there are more neurons in your digestive system than there are in your head. So essentially, you're more informed about how you feel and what you think by your belly brain rather than the one in your skull. Pretty interesting. Now, you can stay here with your chest lifted in your Sphinx, or if you have your block, stack it up on the highest setting and again, lay your forehead down on top. And if you take this variation, you're going to find your shoulders soften a lot. And all of a sudden, the tension that you were using to hold yourself up, using your shoulders, really lets go. Even if you had gotten used to it. Even if you cease to notice it. In any case, try to soften your shoulders as much as possible. Soften your arms. Soften any areas of tension or tightness that don't serve you in this pose. got about another minute here in our Sphinx, and if you want to stay wherever you're at, then you can. For the last minute though, if you want to take your Sphinx into a seal, push your palms down. Maybe gently slide your arms out if you need the space, and lift up off of your mat. Much bigger back bend. Once you come up, again, soften your shoulders as much as you can. Try to draw them down and let go. It does take some engagement to get yourself up here, but once you do, see how much you can relax your arms and your shoulders. See how much you can settle into this pose by using as little muscle engagement as possible. Try not clutching your mat with your hands. Try to pull your ears up away from your shoulders and shoulders down away from your ears. And wherever you're at, take 3 more breaths. And after your 3rd breath, slowly come back down to your elbows. Move your block out of the way if it's there on your mat. And crisscross your forearms down and just lay your forehead down on top. And kick your heels up into the air, bending at your knees, and sway your feet side to side, windshield wiper your legs. Really massage out your IT bands on your yoga mat, and just release your lower back for a second. Just a nice little counter stretch, counter movement to let go. Come back to center and let your feet come back down. Now walk your hands back towards your shoulders, knock over your block. Lift yourself up very slowly and make your way to a tabletop. The shoulders stacked over your wrists and wrists in line with your knees, which are still at hips width distance apart. And move through a couple rounds of cat and cow, again, just to counter stretch, just to move your spine around. And follow your own breath and totally make it like really organic. So start to sway your hips side to side, stretch out, move. Eventually it doesn't really resemble anything like cat and cow, it's just you moving in a tabletop on your mat. Alright, now come back to stillness. Walk your hands slightly forwards and slide your right knee up towards your right wrist. And bring your right ankle towards your left wrist. Slide your left knee back behind you. And locate your props. And so, you have a few options with your props. If you have a couple of blocks, then you can use those. I only have the one, so I'm actually going to use my cushion. Okay? And I'm going to slide that underneath both of my hips. So my right hip is down on top of something, and the front of my left leg, the front of my left hip comes down on top of it as well. And it's nice and even in my hips, so there's equal weight distribution. And this is your swan pose. It's half pigeon in vinyasa flow. Walk your hands back and find a proud swan first. Lift your chest. Keep your left toes pointing back behind you. Maybe your right shin doesn't get very parallel with your yoga mat, especially if your hips or your T-bands are tight. Mine doesn't even come remotely close. My legs are really tight right now. So it's all good. Just focus a little bit more on letting your hips settle into place. Again, right hip and left hip down, equal weight distribution. And then take your other props. You can lay your books or your block down in front. You can lay a bolster or rolled up blanket on top of that. You also don't need to place it on top of your block. You can just lay your bolster directly down. When you're ready, start to walk your hands forwards, folding down over whatever landing strip you might have in front of you. You can lay your forehead down or your chin down. You can lay one cheek down. I'll let you know when to switch sides if you do. And take your time settling in, releasing and folding over your right leg. Again, move very, 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 very slow. You might not have made your way all the way down just yet. You might still be somewhere up here, and that's totally okay. This is very intense posture, and if the props underneath your hips make it a little bit too intense, then you can remove them. Generally, they tend to support. You'll feel a lot in this pose. This can be a very deep, intense stretch and very stressful for your high hamstrings and your IT band and your glutes, maybe even your piriformis, which is a tiny little muscle buried deep in your butt cheek. It's very hard to get to, and when you have issues with it, it can cause all sorts of problems. Either way, as you come into this pose, as you start to feel what you feel, try to notice it, try to observe, and try not to judge. And so often when we come into something that's uncomfortable in our body, we're quick to label it as pain. Our muscles tighten up, and this prevents us from getting into our connective tissue. It also causes undue tightness and tension in our body. And when we experience this tension in our body, we experience it in our mind and in our heart. And just like a taut rubber band, if something happens, it might set us off and we might snap. And if you laid one cheek down, go ahead and switch sides. So again, you want to keep these areas nice and loose, flowing smoothly with energy, and preventing you from getting quickly irritated or frustrated. Continue breathing and continue to stay with any discomfort that may have come up, unless it's pain. If it is pain, then you may need to modify. Either don't come all the way down, or find a supine figure 4 instead. I'll show you that on the other side. Stay here for about 3 more breaths. And after your 3rd breath, on an inhale, slowly lift yourself up. Come up out of your swan. And as easily and gently as you can, swing your left leg around in front of you. If you want to stay on top of your block or your bolster or your pillow, then you can totally do that. Or you can slide it out and make your way all the way down onto your mat. It's your choice. Take your right leg and bring it up over your left leg. Slide your bolster underneath your left knee. So you're setting up a half shoelace. It's kind of like a half pigeon. It's almost like a little bit deeper than half pigeon. It's like your legs are half tied up into a half shoelace. And the nice thing about having a bolster or something underneath your left knee is that it prevents your left knee from bending in a way that it's not meant to bend. So slide something underneath your left leg. Make sure you have something there. It can be your block, pillow, bolster, whatever you got. Let your legs settle into place. And then again, you want to find length in your spine. Breathe in. And as you exhale, keep the length in your spine for as long as you can as you fold. And keeping that length helps you get to a deeper fold right away. And then once your back starts to round again, go ahead and let it round. Maybe your forehead makes it down on top of your right knee, and that's great. If it doesn't, then you have other props. Use your pillow or your block and lay that down on top. And whatever prop is underneath your left leg is going to keep your left leg safe and your left knee joints safe as you place all of that weight down on top in your fold. Let your arms relax and just breathe. If you don't have extra props to bring your forehead down, and you want to stack up your fists on top of your right leg, you can do that as well. It's kind of a convenient way to bring your head down on something. And as you stay and marinate in this pose, If your body is asking for more and you can go a little bit deeper, then maybe you lower your props down or take one fist away. Maybe eventually your head does make it all the way down to your right leg. Be surprised what your body is capable of when you can find enough patience to sit and hold and see what it can do for you. Continue to breathe, keeping your breathing rhythm natural and steady and normal. And take about 3 more breaths here. After your 3rd breath, slowly lift yourself up. And then, as easily and gently as you can, take your right leg out and send it alongside your left. Make sure your bolster or your blanket or whatever is underneath your left leg stays there. Just place your right leg on top this time. And then very gently take your left leg on top of your right. Stack your left knee over your right knee. Set up your half shoelace on this side. If this side is a little bit tighter or a little different, if you can't quite make it or stack your legs, then you can place a block in between if you need. You can also kickstand using your block underneath your left thigh. And find what's right for you and sit up nice and tall. Left heel towards your right glute. And then find the length in your spine again. Sit up tall and breathe in. And then as you exhale, slowly make your way back down. Fold over your left leg. Use your block, your pillow, or your fists stacked up again on top of one another, if that's right for you. This probably feels much different on this side, not only because our sides are so different from our left to our right in our hips and in our legs, but also we haven't done our swan yet on the left side. So you might notice a significant difference from the right to the left. Try to accept that. Try not to force your legs or your hips or your right and your left to feel the same. And just accept how your body feels here in this space, in this pose. And again, trying not to change anything. Yin practice is the perfect opportunity for your mind and your heart to, your body, mind and your body to come together and to check in with one another to see how each feels. without trying to change or control or manipulate anything. It's like date night for your mind and your body. Take about 3 more breaths here. On your next inhale, slowly make your way back up. Come on, your pose. And then your right leg is going to swing behind you, so you can go ahead and remove the bolster or prop from underneath your right knee. And lay that aside. Just swing your right leg back behind you and start to set up your swan here. Now, if your swan does not feel good and you want to come into a supine figure 4 instead, and I'll show you real quick how to do that. For your supine figure 4, you're going to lie down on your back, bend your right knee, and stack your left ankle on top of your right thigh. And this is just a variation if you're having any left knee issues, or if your half pigeon, or rather swan, didn't feel right on the other side and you want to try to make adjustments for your left side. Otherwise, send your right leg back behind you and bend your left knee in front of you. Again, trying to move rather slowly. Grab your props, the same thing that you used on the other side if you use something. And bolster or pillow are probably best. I tend to like the pillow, again, because I like to fold down over the bolster. Your bolster comes out in front. And if you're in your swan, then find a proud swan. Walk your hands back, lift your heart. Stay here and let your hips settle. Any differences from your left to right are going to be even more magnified here in this pose. And when you're ready to fold forwards, walk your hands on either side of whatever prop you might have in front of you, if you chose to have a prop, a landing strip to come down on top of. And again, maybe you don't make it all the way down at first. Maybe this is as far as you get, or maybe your elbows come down, and that's about it. Of every pose is having different phases, different steps along the journey. You can stop at any step, in any phase. Hold, and as your edge recedes, if you can go deeper, then go deeper. If you folded down and you laid one cheek on your bolster or on your mat, go ahead and switch sides. But just notice anything that comes up in your lower back as you do switch sides. If something doesn't feel right down there, then you totally don't have to switch sides. You can also always just bring your chin or your forehead down as long as you have room to breathe. As the tension in your hips starts to recede. As you get more and more familiar with what you're feeling in this pose, the discomfort may start to change. It may start to transform into something else. It may actually end up becoming maybe comfortable. All the poses in your yoga practice, all of your asanas are essentially metaphors. No matter what practice it is, whether it's yin or vinyasa, by putting your body into these shapes, you're essentially learning how to find comfort in stressful positions. You're retraining your brain that when you find tension and stress in your life outside of your yoga mat, you can find comfort and strength. Take another breath in. And exhale completely. And slowly on your inhale, lift yourself back up. Walking your hands towards your hips. This time, very slowly and easily bring your right leg around in front of you. Lift your left leg up. And move your bolster or landing strip, if you had one, out of the way and just lay it aside. And slide anything out from underneath your hips. Come all the way down onto your sits bones. And slowly make your way to your back. So lie down on your yoga mat. Very easily. Then send your left leg out long in front of you, nice and slow. It's been bent for a while, so you're going to feel it in your left knee. Then lay your right knee down next to your left, but pull your right heel towards your right glute. So this is a half saddle, half supine saddle. Maybe your right knee doesn't make it all the way down, that's okay. It's a very intense stretch for particularly the top side of your right leg. Getting really deep in your quads. And then try to relax your arms, let your palms open up towards the ceiling, or lay one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly again, and just breathe. If you find that the stretch is too intense for you and that laying down here is just too much, then you can gently lift yourself up and take the seated variation. It's generally the same thing. You're just sitting up tall with your left leg out and your right leg bent here. The big difference is that it just kind of softens the stretch on the top side of your right leg, yeah. So it's not quite as much when you're not lying down. Whatever variation you like and whatever is accessible for you. You may start off seated as well, and then as you get more comfortable, you may work your way back down to your mat. Maybe to your elbows. Maybe all the way down to your back. And wherever you're at, just find your breath, stay and hold. About one more minute. And as softly and easily as you can, begin to come out of your pose, raising your right knee up. And send your right leg out long to the front. Bend your left knee. Slide your heel towards your left glute. And then turn your left knee down towards your right knee. And again, if this is not as accessible for you, you can come into it in a seated pose. And my left knee is having some issues, so it feels much better for me to stay here sitting up into it. So that's the variation I'm going to take on this side. Half saddle, left knee bent, right leg long. Sit up tall if you're sitting. If you're laying down, then stay there. Breathe. If your body starts to ask for more and you can go a little bit deeper, if you're sitting up, then maybe walk your hands back. And maybe come down to your elbows. Again, every pose has stops and phases. Little points along a journey of each pose. for 3 more breaths. And then your next breath in from wherever you're at. Raise your left knee up. Slowly send your left foot out to meet your right. As easily as you can, if you're not there already, lie down on your back. Start to fade. And bend both knees, bring your heels up towards your glutes. And let your knees fall over to the left side of your mat. Raise your arms up to a T or a goalpost if you don't have room. Gaze over your right shoulder and find a gentle supine twist. If you like to bind your legs for your supine twist, then take your right leg over your left. And with the bound weight of your legs, bring your knees closer to the earth. And keep your right shoulder down and keep looking over to the right side. And just breathe. Slowly come back to center. Unbind your legs if you took the bind. And then drape your knees over to the right side if you took the bind on the left. And take your left leg over your right and do the same thing on this side. As your knees fall to the right, bring your gaze over to the left. Both of your shoulders should still be in contact with your mat. Slowly inhale back to center. Separate your legs and wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a tight squeeze. Lift your chest up to your thighs. Draw your forehead to your knees. And whenever you're ready, let yourself go into your final Shavasana, whatever shape that takes today. Whatever way you can find the most comfort, the most stillness, and the most absolute relaxation after your practice. Allowing your body to completely let go. As always, yogis, this is your own home practice. And so if you would like to stay in your Shavasana, then I encourage you to do just that. Please enjoy it for as long as your body and your life allow. And if you would like to sign off with me today, then go ahead and start to make your way out of your Shavasana. Come into an easy seated pose very slowly, in whatever way makes sense for you. When you arrive, crisscross your legs and sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes down and inhale your arms up overhead. Then exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. We'll seal our practice joining in one sound of Om today. First we'll inhale and then exhale, and then we'll inhale to Om. Take an inhale. Exhale to release. And inhale to Om. Thank you so much, yogis, for joining me out there today. I hope you enjoyed practice and hope to see you soon. Please stay safe, and until then, namaste. Thanks, yogis. Hope you enjoyed this yin practice. Again, working our liver and gallbladder meridians should be really good for your legs, for your hips, should be good for letting go of tension and irritation and frustrations, and also for promoting creativity and ambition. I think right now, during this time, we're all finding ways to get by uh, through creativity. And I think that's one of the kind of advantages, kind of one of the opportunities that we have right now is to cultivate creativity in order to find out how to navigate through this new world that we've suddenly found ourselves in. So, yeah, so that's why I wanted to do that with you guys today. Hope you enjoyed it. Stick around. I'll have more for you soon. And until then, namaste. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and if you like it, maybe think about grabbing a coffee. Look in the link in the description below. See you soon. Namaste.